What's going on, guys? Tony Hannity's here from LazyTechGuys.com, and this is the third episode of Mobile Moment, a beta show that we're currently testing as a daily basis show regarding mobile news of Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and anything else that's mobile related, mobile centric, like carriers and things like that. We are kind of doing a whole revamp. I'm thinking of trying to do like a daily show about gaming and stuff like that. So, stay tuned as to what else that we might have. The Q&A is open. So in regards to what we're talking about today, if you have anything that you want to chime in on or pitch in some of your ideas or theories as to what's going to be coming to us moving forward, then definitely let me know or hit me up at LTG Tony or our general space LazyTechGuys.com. So let's go ahead and get started. This is actually really cool because this is not just mobile centric to just one operating system, but to pretty much all the major operating systems when it comes to the downloadable movies. Star Wars is officially going to be a downloadable, well, I guess you can download Star Wars from iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, and I think they announced a few others as well too. Let's see if they have the whole list. You can even purchase it with Disney Movies Everywhere. I mean, this is pretty awesome because if you have never seen Star Wars, this might be a great way for you to show this to yourself or to your kids. Or if you're in the predicament like me, where I'm going on vacation this weekend, we are going to be on the road, and if I want to show Star Wars to them for whatever the case may be, I don't have to pop over to Walmart or anything like that. I can just download it onto my phone, and whether I use iTunes or whatever, it's pretty much all, well, I guess maybe not iTunes, but like Amazon and Google Play, it's all pretty much DRM, so I get DRM free, so I can watch that in its entirety. And the other benefit of this is that there's going to be some extra features like bloopers and behind the scenes stuff, interviews. What's not quite clear though is what version is this going to be? Is this going to be the remastered version that came out with where Greedo shot first, and there's the Jedi Rock song that we all freaking hate, or is this going to be the original version that most of us that grew up in the 80s and late 70s, I guess, all know and love? So we'll find out. But if you did want to buy the movies individually, they're going to be $20, or you can buy a whole collection at a discount, I'm assuming. So yeah, this is coming out on the on the 10th of April, this Friday, coincidentally the same day as the pre-order of the Apple Watch, and also when all these other phones are being launched, like the M9 and the Galaxy S6 and S6 Edge. But I think this is the most important purchase that you're going to make this Friday. I'm just saying. So letting my wife know, if you see $60 missing from our account, voila, this is where it went. But yeah, that goes for all of you guys out there. Now, moving on to Android application news. One piece of news that was interesting to me was the fact that, these two services that are becoming very popular, I guess that were very popular at the time of their inception and initial release, is both Periscope and Meerkat. Until now, we still have yet to have an official app on iOS, or rather on Android, from both Periscope and Meerkat. And Periscope has officially said that an Android app is coming soon. But I ask you guys, is this important? I mean, when it first launched, it hit the same user base as Meerkat almost within a day. That's not saying a lot, but it's still over 300,000 users. And since then, it dropped fairly dramatically in the App Store rankings. And plus, just the overall usage, if you look on the Twitter stream, there's not a lot of people doing these live streams. Now, it's kind of counterintuitive for me to be against this because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. But I'm doing it more in a show format, in more of a show / netcast format. Whereas this, I don't know, like the most popular videos that are on Meerkat and Periscope now tend to be videos where people are, they're shameless. Like, you are literally getting a window into their lives. One of them is they're obviously performing for the camera, but it's, I guess it's a beautiful woman that is cooking and wearing very little to anything while she's cooking. And it's very titillating for some of you out there. Then there's another video where the guy's not even in the shot. It's just his view of his apartment in New York, which, if you've ever been in New York and seen the view that he's in, it looks gorgeous. It really does. And there's some other videos. There's this one guy that I saw. He's a cashier, and it's just him interacting with the customers. And in between that, it's just him and his crazy antics. But there doesn't seem to be like a definitive place for this streaming, this instant streaming of media, because we have YouTube, which we can go back and we can watch these episodes, and we can see a progression. And there's a reason. Like, for example, Equals 3, Ray William Johnson's show. It's him, or rather his staff, poking fun at other YouTube videos. And then there's gameplay videos, and then there's like other tech videos like MKBHD. Those have a point, but we haven't yet found that real niche for the live stream that is making live stream of Periscope and Meerkat really sticky. It was cool, it was awesome, but as I kind of predicted, it hasn't really stuck just yet. And I'm not quite sure at this point what Periscope and or Meerkat can do. But the one thing that is really important is to grow the market and launch an Android app. Because I can guarantee you, when they launch that Android app that Periscope will have in a couple of weeks or so, that is going to increase the install base tenfold, just by having that app. And whether that, it doesn't necessarily verify that we want to use it. It just verifies that we're interested, and we're still trying to find a use case scenario for apps like Periscope. If you look at Vine, for example, the 6-second video service that Twitter bought, again, in its infancy stage, it's kind of like, I don't see exactly what we can share on Vine. And then there was a whole slew of like Vine Magic and 6-second comedy routines with King Batch. And it was just amazing what people were being able to come up with. They were really flowing their creative juices. But now that this is live stream, you can't really do things like that unless it was all impromptu. And I guess, what's the, what's that word I'm trying to look for? Well, I guess impromptu, where you just spontaneous kind of comedy. Like, I guess that would be good, but there's only, a few type of people that are able to do it out there. There's another app that I tested out called Hang With, which is also on iOS and Android. And one thing that they have going with them is that they have celebrities using it. So like I mentioned earlier, I think it was last week, you can follow people like Nathan Fillion, who's the star of Castle and Firefly, and just see what he does on a regular day basis. And a geek like me that really loves his characters, I'm like, yeah, I'd love to see what he does, like when he's not on the screen. I mean, not in the bathroom, but like, when he's just walking around, like, what does he do? Like, it'd be kind of cool. Like, what does he drink? The same Starbucks that I drink? I don't know. So I'm all for Periscope coming to Android. I'm still not quite sure though if it's a hit. So keep them coming. But we'll definitely see how that goes as it moves forward. Now, also in the Android space, one of the most popular phones, at least with the geeks, was the OnePlus One. And the reason why it was so popular, it was really the flagship killer of a phone. For $250 or $350, you could get a phone with specifications that were top notch for its time, like a beautiful 1080p display, a great camera, actually a really awesome interface, and the fact that they actually had Cyanogen already embedded in the phone right from the get-go. Now, if you have been following the story between Cyanogen and OnePlus, they've been having some issues, let's just say. For example, OnePlus launched their phone in India, but unbeknownst to them, Cyanogen actually signed a deal with Micromax that Micromax was going to be the official carrier, or rather the official phone maker, to have Cyanogen mod their launcher on the Micromax devices. And with OnePlus coming into the country, it was like, hey, what happened to our agreement here? So there was that. There, they just weren't communicating. And although it would be nice to be able to buy a phone with Cyanogen, the point is this: if you're a tinker, somebody that wants a Cyanogen phone, you can get that out of any phone. It doesn't matter what launcher's on there or anything. So what OnePlus did was they devised and created their own UI, their own operating system over Android, still using Google Play, but it's no longer a Cyanogen mod phone. It's a OnePlus phone running what's called the Oxygen OS. What's really nice about the Oxygen OS is that it is very close to stock Android, kind of similar to what Motorola has done on their Droid Turbo as well as the Moto X, where you feel that it's very, very close to vanilla Android. But of course, it does have some of their own perks in there. So case in point, for example, there's a lot of gestures that you can do with Cyanogen mod on your phone. So for example, with the screen off, you can actually draw a circle on the screen and the phone will know that you want to launch the camera, and then it will launch into the camera. So that was actually originally not a OnePlus gesture. That was a Cyanogen mod gesture. So now that Cyanogen isn't going to be on the phones from this point on, even if you have an Oxygen OS device, you would be able to do a gesture like that and it will launch the camera. Or you can do a V and it will launch the flashlight. Now, some of you that have played with that have definitely seen the downsides, like the flash would go off on your phone, rather in your pocket automatically, or the camera would launch in your pocket automatically. So there's some pretty cool ideas with the gestures, but it's not a bug-free system. The other benefits too, in the notification shade, you can actually rearrange the toggle switches. So like your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth, your LTE connection, you can switch them up in an order that makes most sense to you. Or if you never need airplane mode, you can specify that you don't even want the airplane mode toggle to be on there, just in case that you accidentally hit it. I have an almost 3-year-old, and she goes through my phone all the time, and there's been times where she's actually sent text messages to people and toggled the NFC on and off. So it'd be kind of nice to be able to have her avoid some of those connections that I obviously need on a day-to-day basis. So if you want the Oxygen OS, this was devised for the OnePlus One. I don't think that you can just very easily throw that ROM onto any phone. You can try, but this is replacing Cyanogen Mod's 12S, or rather it's replacing the 11S, but I think 12S is out as well too. So if you want to stick with Cyanogen, you can get their 12S and just flash that over your 11S. But then this ROM would be flashed over your Cyanogen, and then you'd be full-fledged OnePlus with their Oxygen. And it does erase your whole phone. Whatever is on there, all your settings, your passwords, all your photos, your music, it's all gone. You just have to reload it on again. But really, if you got this phone, let's be real. The people that got this phone were already tinkerers and geeks. If you're the type of person that's looking for an inexpensive phone and you're just an average person, you probably not going to come across OnePlus One, even on a Google search. And even if you do, you might be like, oh, I've never heard of this company. I'd rather go with a company that I feel more, that I feel like they have a little bit more clout and whatnot, just because of branding, like a Samsung or an LG or an HTC or something like that. But yeah, I'm excited for this, because this also means that the Oxygen OS is going to be in the OnePlus 2 or whatever they decide to call it. And that's the other thing too. We've been hearing rumors, aside from the whole DR1 April Fool's thing, we've been hearing rumors that they are devising a new OnePlus device. And what are they going to have in there? And are they still going to be able to have a lower price point just like they do right now? Because if they have a really top-notch phone, but it starts to get into the $400, $500 price range, it's like, well, yes, it might be an iPhone killer, a Galaxy S6 killer. It might be all. It might even be. Well, it's not too hard to kill the Nexus, to be honest with you. But it might be the greatest phone out there, but it's not a flagship killer. It's just becoming a flagship. So, and OnePlus, they're still a startup. In their mind, even if they're an offshoot from Oppo, they're still a startup. So, but yeah, let me know if you have a OnePlus and you want to throw the Oxygen OS on there, and you do it. Takes a little bit of know-how, so not for the faint of heart. But let us know, lazytechguys.com or comments at lazytechguys.com. Love to hear your input. Also from Android, if you have been waiting for one of the best Android TV set-top boxes that are out there, it's not the Nexus TV. It might even be the one that's coming from NVIDIA, which I believe is called the Stream TV or something like that. I don't remember the exact name. But the one that was announced at CES by Razer was the Razer Forge. And that was going to be pre-ordered at $149, and you can do that on Amazon starting today. To recap on what you're getting, you have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 805 processor, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and a USB, so you can expand the storage. And comparing that to the Google TV that came out, rather not Google TV, sorry, the Nexus player that came out over the winter, that is at least 2 times better than where you're getting from the Nexus player. It's $50 more, if I'm not mistaken, but it's $50 well spent. Plus, it has a little bit more gaming. It's Razer, so it has a little bit more gaming kind of orientation. Razer has their own controller as well too, so the Android TV games that are on there will play a lot better, a lot smoother on a set-top box like this. So, Razer did announce that they will sell the system for only $100 without the controller, but I don't know if that's the case anymore. You can at least get the controller and the set-top box for $150 on Amazon right now. And if this is something that you're interested in looking at some reviews, head over to Android Central or Android Authority. They got some really good reviews on there too. And lastly, in the news of Android, the father of Android, the creator of Android from Danger, Mr. Andy Rubin. We know that he left Google to pursue his own ventures, no pun intended. And as of today, we found out that his new company is called Playground Global. Now, due to an FCC filing uncovered by Fortune, they have actually raised $48 million so they can actually fund hardware companies that are in need. Andy Rubin's quote is quoted to say, "Our aim is to free the creators to create. By bringing these partners to the table, we can remove many roadblocks of bringing a great idea to market." Andy Rubin in the technology world is almost like the American dream. I mean, he came from Danger, which, if you remember, they created the Sidekick, which was one of the most popular handsets of the mid 2000s on T-Mobile. And I got to tell you, I loved my Sidekick. It was a piece of junk looking back at it now, but at the time, it did internet, it did AIM, it did all the things that smartphones do in a more, I guess, teen-friendly environment, and they really hit the market pretty hard. And when Android came out, yes, it was more developer and industrial kind of geek-friendly, but it's obviously changed since then because of the vision of people like Mario Duartes, I think is his name, or Duartes, I'll just say his last name, from Google, who originally came from WebOS at Palm. So, I mean, having Andy in your corner with your new company as a startup incubator is great for you and your company. So hats off to him and the rest of the team over at Playground Global. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of companies that are coming through there in the next couple of years. So I'm very excited to see what he has to announce. And it's a shame that Google lost him, but at the same time, the benefit of Google is for every genius that leaves Google to pursue their own dream, they hire another genius. So that's awesome. Also, moving over to Mac and iOS. There was a not leaked press release from LG recently, but it was actually published on LG's website stating that they were in production of the new iMac displays, which would be 8K for Apple. Now, Apple, since this announcement came forth, I guess accidentally, obviously hasn't said anything. LG hasn't said anything, but it came about that they are pushing forward the next step in really high res screen technology, and LG definitely is one of the best companies to go with for that. And they've obviously done that in the past with the iPhone and the 5K displays and things like that. So no word on pricing and obviously availability, since it's not even confirmed from Apple. But it's kind of funny that this had come out, because there's also another rumor stating that the next iteration of the Apple TV set-top box won't support 4K. Now, there's an argument stating that, well, Apple doesn't really have control of the 4K content going up on the screen. At the same time, they don't really have control of the overall content going on an 8K screen. It's even the 4K, 5K screens that they have today, that's not up to Apple. That's up to the developers of the programs and software that Apple allows to be on their ecosystem. So if Apple didn't have a 4K set-top box, that would really surprise me, because it's not like Apple to skip too many generations back. But we are in line for a new Apple TV, especially since they just lowered the price of the current generation Apple TVs. So we'll probably find out more at WWDC later on this year. But I'm a little weary about the Apple TV rumor, but I can definitely believe about the iMac rumor being 8K. Moving over to Windows. If you are looking forward to Windows 10, you are definitely not the only one. And according to sources at mice.com, if you look in the upgrade file on your Windows 7 or Windows 8.1 machine, there's actually a silent installer for Windows 10. If you look in the whole kind of like scale list of your file library, there's a file called gwuxuxworker.exe, and when you look in, when you hover over it or look at the properties for that particular file, it actually says download Windows 10, which explains why there's an X in the name of the file. So this is really, just kind of preparing your respective computers to get ready for Windows 10. We know it's coming in the summer. So don't think that this means that Windows 10 is coming tomorrow. It's not. They said summer, and I think 130 or 190 languages, countries, and 111 languages. So either way, more steps moving forward to Windows 10. But until then, if you were hoping to run Windows 8 or even Linux on any HDMI monitor or your home TV, or you want to create your own HT PC, a home theater PC, Intel is finally taking pre-orders for the Intel Compute Stick. Intel announced this compute stick over at CES 2015 and said that this would be just a little under $100 to run full Linux or Windows. And unfortunately, they missed that mark just a little bit. If you want the, at least from Newegg, if you want the Windows version running Windows 8.1, it'll cost you $150, and the Linux version costs you a little less at $110. The stick itself has the software, which is key, 2 gigs of RAM, 32 gigs of storage, Wi-Fi G and N, micro SD slot for the actual operating system, micro USB for power, and then a USB to connect in your external hard drive or mouse, keyboard, or a hub. The ironic thing is most of the peripherals are going to be physically and weigh a lot more than the compute stick itself. But it's just amazing how much we've been able to miniaturize computers even from the last 5 years. So I'm very excited to see what kind of tinkers are going to come out of this and what people are going to find out from just Windows or Linux and what they're going to be able to build. And this will definitely be great for even middle school and high school students. Looking at the new makerspace with the Raspberry Pi and things like that. If you want a base from like Windows right out of the gate, this is another option for you other than the Raspberry Pi. So really, really cool that this is coming out now. I don't think myself I would get one because I'm not really a tinkerer myself. But again, going out to you guys out there, if this is something in your wheelhouse that you feel like you would be able to have a much better time messing around with, let us know. Comments at lazytechguys.com. So that's pretty much it for now. Let's go ahead and check out the Q&A section. Nothing right now. Okay, so we have a full show Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's myself and my co-host, Sean Wilburn, where we talk tech news of the last 7 days. So everything, including April Fools. So we'll touch on a few things of those, as well as from Apple, Windows, Snowden, maybe we'll talk Snowden and John Oliver, and a few other things as well too. So definitely stick around for that in about 24 hours because that's generally when we do it on Tuesday nights. But until then, if there's anything else that you want to contact us about, comments at lazytechguys.com, or you can hit us up at 707-722-5299, and we will play those on air, or if they're good and funny and less than 30 seconds. And we'll definitely take all of your opinions and whatever you have to say into consideration. So thanks again for watching and listening, and we will talk to you guys soon. Peace.